Hey y'all, welcome back to the Cookie Chat. It's Melissa of Missy P Sweets here. Chelsea, my co-host, is not here today because today is another mini tutorial, and today we are talking all about photos. So I'm first going to show you guys how to make your own photo board for your photos, and then in the second half I'll be showing you easy ways to edit your photos using your iPhone photo settings. So before we get started, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe down below so you don't miss any of our content. And also, if you haven't checked it out already, go ahead and check out our Patreon. We share so much additional content there. We do Patreon only episodes, we do discount codes, and we have some new summer merch coming out this Friday. So go ahead and hop on over and check that out. All the links are in the comments below. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started on how to make a photo board. Now, you can absolutely buy a photo board. There are lots of companies that do sell them, but if it's something that you're just starting out with, or it's not your priority of where you need to spend your hard-earned business dollars yet, this is a very, very cost-effective solution. So all you're gonna need for this is just go to your local craft store. They even sell these at Dollar Tree or Michael's or Target, and you're just gonna get regular old photo board, like what you make with your projects. Now make sure it's foam core board, so you want a little bit of thickness there to it. It's not just your regular poster board. So it's just a few dollars. Go ahead and pick one up. Now you can use photo board just as is, but the reason that you want to line it, this is contact paper. This is shelf paper that my mom, it's the first thing she does anytime she buys a house, is she goes in before they even move anything in and all of the drawers and the cabinets with new shelf paper. And it's just a really easy way to make your foam board food safe so that you can set cookies directly on it. But I also love it because it's really, really easy to clean. So this one I've actually had for a while, and if you can see, the way that it can get dirty sometimes is I use my baking sheets when I'm taking photos, and you can check out my Instagram, that's in our notes. And so the baking sheets actually get it a little bit dirty. So with a magic eraser or a sponge, you can just spray it with water and it wipes off completely clean. The other great thing is you can get whatever kind of contact paper you want. You could get some that looks like wood, some that looks like marble. I just do a plain white. But you can make a ton of different boards, just changing out your contact paper with different designs. So this is one that I've had for a while, and it's gotten a little bit bent, and I just need to refresh it. So I'm actually going to flip it over on the back side that does not have it, and I'm going to take my contact paper and I'm going to lay it out. You want to lay it out so that it overlaps a bit on each side. And the contact paper, it has like rulers on the back side so you can keep it nice and straight. And I'm just going to roll it out so it's a little overhang on each side. And I'm going to cut it out. And then here's the trick with contact paper. Same thing if you were going to be laying it on shelving too. You don't want to pull the full back off. No, because then it'll all bunch together kind of like cellophane wrap. You got to do it slowly and carefully. So what I'm going to do is, this is the side that I want to cover. This is my contact paper up. So this is the finished side up. And what I'm going to do, I still got that overhang. I'm going to start peeling it off from one corner. So I've got one corner here. I'm going to slowly peel it across the top, but not far back, just a little bit, just like an inch or an inch and a half. And I'm going to slowly peel one edge back, and it's okay if it folds over a little bit again on itself as long as you get it started. And this is the hardest part, is just getting that part started, okay? Okay, once I've got that peeled back a little bit, you don't want it to peel over on itself. I'm gonna flip this side of the paper underneath, okay? And I'm gonna get this lined up. And I'm going to go ahead and start at one edge and smooth. Just trace those fingers across, all the way across. All the way across, and smush that down really, really smooth. And if you get a little wrinkle, all you do is you hold one side, you pull up back behind that wrinkle, and you just smooth it down. Now, if your board is bent or something like that, there's potential that it's going to show that. So you just want to make sure when you're getting that board that you're getting one that's nice and neat. All right, now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and fold this over on this edge. And it doesn't really matter on the back end if it's folded or not. Not a big deal. Okay, so now that is all nice and neat. Now I'm going to fold this back over. So it's already smushed down on this side, right? I'm going to fold this over and I'm going to keep my hand on this part that's already like peeled off. I'm going to hold that. I'm going to flip this over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly start pulling that paper on my hand that's underneath. It's pulling this back side of it. And with the top hand, I am slowly smoothing as I go. I'm going to turn the sound off here and I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way throughout the end of the board. All right, I've smoothed it all the way across. Now I'm to the edge. I'm just going to flip up and fold it over. Look at that beautiful, clean photo board. It's all ready to go. So here's a couple of tricks too when you're going to take photos. Make sure you find a window that has some filtered sun. What that means is you don't want to see the sunlight coming in streaks or direct sunlight. If that sun is hitting it direct on, you're going to get really harsh shadows and really just offset on coloring. It's going to be overexposed in your pictures. So either get some drapery or even get just a white bed sheet or bed linen, and that'll help filter that light. But you really, really want to find natural sunlight as bright as you can. Another trick to this is get a second board, white, anything white or even a baking sheet. And when your cookies are laid out on it, what you want to do is use that photo board to direct the sun on top of your cookies. So you'll have your phone or your camera in one hand, and you'll have that, and you'll see the sun start to shift as you hold it over, and your cookies will automatically start to look brighter just as you move that baking sheet or the extra foam core board. So can't wait to see y'all's foam core board or your photo boards. And now let's look at how to edit.
Welcome to the photo editing portion of today's tutorial. This photo was taken in natural sunlight, filtered sunlight on a photo backdrop like what we just created. And editing photos can feel intimidating, but just a few tweaks like I'm about to show you can make such a world of difference. So you're going to hit the edit button in the top right corner and all of these things pop up. This is what can feel intimidating, but I promise I'm going to make it less intimidating for you. We're going to start scanning through these. I'm going to take you to the very first one that I always start out with before anything else is going to be shadows. You're going to slide it all the way up as far as you can go without completely washing out your color. If you're washing out your color, tone it back. You can always bump it up once you touch these other elements. The next thing we're going to go to is brightness. Again, just turn it up before things start to get washed out. You can always come back and brighten it a bit more. So we've brightened it up a bit with shadows and brightness. Now we're going to start adding in some of those colors and bumping up some of the color. I love using warmth first before saturation or vibrance. It just kind of adds like it says, a warmth to your pictures and a depth to it. Then you can start bumping up the saturation a little bit. You have to be careful if you're already using really bright colors. You may not even need to touch that. Now, sometimes when you brighten photos, a lot of times you can lose the details. So you want to mess with your definition and your sharpness, just to make sure those details, especially if you're doing something that's tone on tone, that you can see those popping out. Now's when we're going to come back and see if we want to up that brightness even more. So on this particular one, because they're pretty muted colors, I'm bumping up that brightness a little bit more. But then see, I felt like I was losing a little bit of that sharpness. So I'm going to come back and bump that up so that I'm not losing any of my details. I think that's the biggest thing that you want to make sure that you're brightening, but not losing your details. Then we're going to come to highlights. Now this just amps up any of those lighter colors a little bit, and again kind of adds some of that depth to it. But you do have to be careful. It's a finishing touch. Same thing with exposure. Don't start with exposure. It should be your finishing touch only. Now we're going to look back at a previous photo taken that same sunlight. Look at how much brighter this pops and shows off those cookies. We cannot wait to see you guys put these into practice and share them on social media with us. Thank you so much for joining today's tutorial. We hope you basic bakers have an amazing week.